subject coming up for you right here on the program. Sarah Buxbaum is going to be joining me, and she's got an article up on Forbes concerning customer support. And you guys see this every day. You hear about it, talk about it. Customer support. Is there support out there for the customer? Sarah Buxbaum is on with us. And Sarah, I want to welcome you to the show. You're live across North America. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for joining us on the program. You know, and I was reading some of the components here of the story involving customer support. I thought, oh, man, got to get you on here to talk about customer support. And, oh, man, I know a lot of folks can relate to this. But tell folks a little bit about you as we get started. The Forbes article, what was that about? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have been, speaking and passionate about customer service and customer experiences for about 17, 18 years now. And with everything that's changed in the last few years, I really think it's more important than ever to treat your customers with amazing gratitude, appreciation, good service. Give them something that that they want to come back to you for instead of going somewhere else. And so now I get to really share that all over the country because of how bad all these other companies are doing. I get to share how they could do better.
Well, and you've got an article up on Forbes, right, that talks about this. And let's get your website out there, Forbes. Is that where folks can find this article that you got?
Celebrate with Sarah is the website where they can see kind of everything I'm talking about, all of this. But, yeah, that article was on Forbes. And,
okay. I was going to say outstanding, yeah, and from that standpoint, I think this is ringing a bell for a lot of folks out there that they say, well, go to a restaurant and you don't get waited on, or the order's wrong, or there's a cranky waiter or waitress. If you go into a truck stop, gasoline station, folks don't want to be there. Is customer service getting worse, in your opinion?
Yes. Yes. I think it's getting worse daily. A lot of people don't want to go to work because they don't want to get yelled at, and they don't want to be doing the jobs of 6 people because so many other people don't want to go to work, and it's just becoming this unraveling craziness and chaos because the customer wants more, and then the employee wants to do less, and so here we are.
And this really creates a lot of ill will, doesn't it? A lot of the folks that are listening to you across North America are over-the-road professional truck drivers, and they're out weeks at a time going to truck stops and, restaurants and things like that. And I think a lot of folks can relate to this. And one might say, okay, Sarah, I went into this restaurant, got terrible service, flying the food, but not that extreme. But, somebody might say, you know what, didn't get the service I wanted, and I'm going to leave like $1 tip or a penny tip. Is that one way to show that you're not happy with that? That, I would think, impacts the waiter. Well, the waitress may not be their fault, right? How do you see that?
Exactly. Well, first, I want to thank all the truckers because they are really going through so much right now with the road rage, with the supply shortages. So I know that there's a lot of truckers who listen to this, and we're very grateful for them. But I do think it's very unfair to leave a no tip. I worked in restaurants for a long time, or a $1 tip, $2 tip. If your server is doing their job, then you need to show your appreciation to them, because they showed up to work and they're doing their job. If someone in the back messed up and your order's wrong, you can very politely say, without yelling at your waiter, hey, they forgot my cheese. Do you mind remaking this? And I don't see anything wrong with that. You need to get what you're paying for.
Yeah.
That being said, the customer needs to be a little bit more patient, because what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is that the customer is so demanding that then the waitress and the waiter gets frazzled. It's a hard job. Being a waitress is a very hard job. And,
I was going to say, absolutely. My daughter, when she was going through college, was a waitress in a couple of restaurants, and some of the stories that she would tell about the customers, how they talk down to the wait staff and things like that. There's no reason for that. because
No.
they're people too, trying to make a living just like everybody else. This, what would imagine, should be a wake-up call for companies. Sarah, correct in that when they read your article or go to the website that you've got? Do they need to rethink what they're doing here to make the customer experience a little bit better or much better?
Oh, yes. I think there's a huge opportunity, especially for the mom-and-pop restaurants and a lot of these small businesses who've struggled the last 2 years being shut down, to really elevate their experience for their customers and not get rid of that or, hire less people to do more jobs. I think that that's a huge mistake, and I think we all kind of need a reset and a little bit more eyes on this. I mean, I talk about this all day on social media. Stop yelling at the people.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, just go in there, try to make it a pleasant experience. All right, drivers, let me get you in and call us, talking with Sarah Buxbaum and talking about customer service, customer support. Are you a good tipper, ladies and gentlemen? When you go to a restaurant, when you go in to maybe get a burger, do you leave a good tip? Do you really reward the waiter or waitress, knowing that, what's going on may not be their fault? Maybe going on behind the kitchen doors, whether that can just simply get out of control really, really fast with problems. But are you a good tipper on the road? Call us, 888-876-2336. Let's hear from you. Or are you one of these kind of individuals that say, you know what, I've heard this before. Well, I don't need to tip at all. I'm just going to walk out because the waiter, waitress is on their own. Sarah, do you hear that quite a bit? That some folks say they just don't deserve it. What do you think?
I hear a lot of people say that. They say, well, I'm already paying $20 for a burger.
Exactly.
And it's like, yes, but you could also make your own burger at home if you don't want to tip. And that's just the most insulting thing as a waitress or just as anybody. I mean, I keep seeing this more, that people think tipping should go away and it should be the restaurant owner's responsibility. And I think that that's outrageous to do. Waitresses get paid minimum wage and they're working really hard, or less. And so that whole mindset of, well, my food was so expensive I don't want to tip, is ridiculous. If you don't want to tip, don't go out.
Let's go to the phone. So we got a number of folks that want to weigh in on this. And again, drivers, just to reset it, if you're just now joining us, Sarah Buxbaum is on. She's got a great article up on Forbes about how customer service is going downhill fast. And what do you see? Let's go first up to Sir Old Dog, who's on the line with us. Sir Old Dog, is it getting worse, getting better, and are you a good tipper?
I'm a great tipper. First of all, my mama was a waitress at Giraffe's restaurant for many years up there in Waterbury, Connecticut. So I grew up there playing in the ballroom as a kid while she worked her tail off. Okay. My girlfriend is a professional chef, and sometimes she waitresses. And if I don't leave a tip, I don't get any kisses for the rest of the week.
Yep. Yeah, that'll come back and haunt you.
Yeah. Well, that being said, okay, the price of everything has gone up. The price of meat, bread, you name it, everything's gone up. And I don't go to McDonald's for nothing. I gave that up for Lent. Okay, and you got to understand when I cook in my truck, so I tip myself with the dessert. Done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But when I do go out, okay, and I like to go in and have a good steak, a sit-down meal, like once a week, and just get out of the truck, unwind, have a really good meal, and I chat the waitresses up, okay, and I bring a smile to their face, and I give them a good, sturdy $10 tip. Because I know what goes on behind the scenes in a restaurant where a lot of people don't know what these people go through, how many hours they're worked. You don't know if they're raising kids, and when you chat up the waitresses and the waiters, you ask these kind of questions. Hey, are you going through school? You got your kids at home,
right.
and treat, because they're working their butt off to make you smile.
You know what? I'll bet you, Sir Old Dog, that, man, you probably saw many a night when your mama came home and she was dead on her feet. Am I right?
Oh, you have, yes, okay.
Yep.
My girl, for instance, she was working 10-hour days, 6 days a week, okay, cooking for people, and then because the waitresses were having a snut, okay, and having a bad day, she would go out there and cook and waitress at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And,
God bless her.
she wasn't making a lot of money. And I told her, I said, I'm done with that. I said, I'm going to pay you $550 a week to stay home and put your feet up and get fat.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. All right, Sir Road Dog, I got a break here. You know, but he comes from a family. What he was saying that that was in the restaurant industry, and I bet he saw his mama come home, and man, her feet were probably swollen from you know, standing around and moving around all day. So let's do this, Sarah. I got a break for a few minutes, and Gypsy, I got you coming up, and then Big Fat Daddy BFD is going to join us on the program, and let's talk about this customer service getting better, getting worse. And are you a good tipper? Call us. Sarah Buxbaum on Forbes. Great article up on this that she put together on Forbes, and I'll never give her website out one more time when we come back. Stay with us. More coming up next. I'm Mark Willis on SiriusXM 146. I'm Mark Willis, and again, Sarah Buxbaum is on. She's got an article up, a great read involving customer support and the lack of it, and how we need to refocus on this thing. And Sarah, again, thanks very much for joining me on a program. Let's get your website out there again where folks can read up on this. Where can I go?
Yes, it's celebratewithsarah.com, and they can find me on Instagram and Facebook the same way.
All right, very good. Thank you for doing this. All right, next up, as promised, we got Gypsy on the line with us. And Gypsy, where are you calling from?
I'm in Kentucky right at the moment, about to hit Ohio.
Hello, sir. Good to have you on board. Customer service better or worse?
Well, a lot of places it's better. Some places it's not, but that's because of inexperience and everything, job changing all the time. You know, I've seen turnover so much in some of the places I've always patronized, and you know, you got to help them along a little bit. Getting upset with them and mad at them isn't the answer. Sometimes they just need a little encouragement, and they'll be fine. But I usually tip 20%. And both of my daughters were waitresses and everything. My one daughter, she was one of the few people in the world and everything, and all that. You know, that most people think there's a lot of them, but there's not a lot of professional licensed wine tasters. And she Italy and all over and everything. There's, you know, I don't understand that part of the business, but it's okay. She makes great money.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
But she started out as a waitress in a truck stop. You know, her dad was a truck driver all his life, which is me, and I encouraged it, you know, and I explained to him a few things you don't put up with, and you don't have to be meaner than hell or slap anybody or nothing. You just got to be direct and tell them how you feel about it.
You know what I mean?
I even tipped the cook.
oh, that's great. Sarah, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I love that
Go ahead.
he said that he encourages them if something's going wrong, not yelling, and just giving them a little bit of encouragement. It's so important, and I love that you recognize that.
Well, and I also, if I have a problem with my food, now it was prepared, I just nicely asked the waitress if she could send a cook out so I could talk to him.
Oh, very good.
And,
okay.
And I, you know, because the waitress is merely just bringing me the food and taking my order. She is not fixing it for me. Why the hell would I yell at her at all?
Absolutely.
You know? So,
have the cooks or chefs come out to visit with you?
Yeah, and I get along real well. I try to be decent about it and everything, but if they want to get belligerent with me and mean about it, I mean, I'm a professional scrapper. I mean, you know, so, you know,
there you go.
I mean, usually then we both quit talking, and I'm kind of looking at them, and I'll give a little bit. I'll have a half-ass cracked smile on the side of my face, and we'll probably laugh about it, and they'll fix me another meal, and I'll still tip them.
Sure. Sure, no, understood. Hey, as long as he doesn't come out with a meat cleaver. You know, I've seen too many TV shows.
Yeah, well, I'm not too afraid of those things either.
No, I understand. But you know, it's great though that you encourage
I've met a cleaver before. You know, I mean.
Yep.
Oh wait a minute, that was his last name. I'm sorry.
Oh no, understand absolutely. What's that show? Leave It to Cleaver, or no, it was Leave It to Beaver. But that was another generation.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about it though, it sounds like you really encourage, you know, people to do their best, and that's what I think really does make a difference. If somebody's having a really rotten day, and they're working, say, in a restaurant, I mean, that little word of encouragement can really make a difference for them, right? It sounds like you've been able to do that, right? Maybe change around the mood for somebody.
Well, when I walk into a place, I'm not afraid to speak up. And generally, the first thing out of my mouth, and everybody in the place will probably hear me, well, good morning or good afternoon, boys and girls. You know, and most of them appreciate it because they're my age or older or younger, you know what I mean. But they appreciate being called boys and girls, you know.
Yep, and just seeing that
more people like you.
Just seeing that new day makes a difference. All right, Gypsy, thank you for that. Let's go to Big Fat Daddy next up. Are you a good tipper? Customer service, better or worse? Man, you're on with Sarah.
I think I'm pretty good. Having worked as a server, I know serving minimum wage is totally different than everybody else's minimum wage. I got paid $2.14 an hour.
Yes.
Back when the minimum wage was near $5.
See, and you think about being able to work through all of that, right? I mean, you were making that kind of money, knowing eventually it would get better, right? At some point, was it kind of like you had to pay your dues, so to speak?
I don't know. I did that job for a short while I was waiting for a better one to open up.
Okay.
But one thing I found interesting is those tips. Those waitresses need them because Uncle Sam is expecting her to get tipped based on 20% of the bill.
Absolutely.
Yep. So even 15 puts her in the hole.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. Yeah, you get. I think when you're working in that field, you're required to report a certain amount. That's what Uncle Sam is looking for. Big Fat Daddy, thank you. I got to get ready to wrap it up. But Sarah, is that spot on? That if you tip a waitress, say, or a waiter 10%, they're still going to be on the hook for meeting that federal minimum tax expectation, aren't they?
Yes. I mean, at least from the places that I've worked in, yes, they expect a certain amount, and they base it. They do an estimate based on what they expect you to get, and the industry standard is 18 to 20% right now, and a little. I try to tip a little bit more if I can, if it's just exceptional service because it's so rare. But I love hearing from them because I always say this, I think everyone should work in the service industry at some point in their life because it will change how you view other people in the service industry.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and again, you think about what these men and women listening, they've got to go through. They go into truck stops, restaurants, they're all over the place trying to get in, get out, and get back on the road, and they experience all kinds of customer service, from the sterling to the not so good. But like you mentioned, though, hopefully it's going to be a wake-up call for those that are leadership in business to look at this, and find ways to make things better, not only for the customer, but also for those that are working on the service side as well, because everybody indeed wants to be appreciated. Sarah, I'm out of time. Got to get ready to go, but one more time, where can folks find you and read up on what you do? What's the website?
Yeah, my website is celebratewithsarah.com, and then that will lead you to all my other ventures that I'm involved in as well.
All right, very good. Sarah, thank you very much, and let's do this again. I appreciate her joining me on the program.